What's up, guys? It's Chris. Welcome to VHP News. So I want to try and keep this shit short. It's just it's a follow up to a post I made earlier about the Nippon Racing Scat Rod combo. To clear it up. It's not even really that complicated. It's just the fact that uh, just backing up here a little bit what I said. This is that is a 300 horsepower in a capable block, or 300 in a 300 horsepower or 300 wheel horsepower capable block. So if you don't remember, which you probably don't, almost a year ago, uh, I saw one of the posts from Matt Monday over 4 Piston Racing talking about the 156 version 2 head. It was on a K24. They made 325 horsepower on pump gas. Right, so I was like, holy shit, their head, they made 325 horsepower on pump, which was great for me. Pump is great. So, uh, fast forward to now, Mr. Mario, who is my first Patreon subscription, by the way, he hits me up saying he wants to go do a K build and he wants 300 horsepower NA. So I'm like, okay, and he's talking about getting a 4 piston head. So I'm like, I already remember the 4 piston head, or I remember talking about this 4 piston head that could make that power on pump. So let me go back and review that video. So I dug and I found it. And then I was like, oh, well, shit. I didn't say anything about compression in there. All I said was this head, pump gas, 300 horsepower. So I DM'd Monday, and Monday didn't give me compression straight up. He gave me the dome. He gave me dome. He gave me the dome CC. And then I started digging and found my answer for compression. And then he confirmed it later. Because I did the ask hole thing and I asked right away instead of going and taking the time to look. But by the time he answered that question, I'd already gone and looked, and I was like, "Yeah, I did the compression calculator. I got the compression height, and I punched in the dome CC, and I was able to figure out where it would land. So 12.5 to 1 will make it on that head." And then he goes, if you want make 300, he goes, if you want that 325 or that 320 plus, you need 13.5 to 1, right? So Nippon Racing has dropped a new piston. All right, it's a RRC type R piston that you can get an 86 millimeter or 87, or I think the range is 86 to 87.5 millimeter, right? So if you go straight K24 with that piston, it's 13.5 to 1 compression, right? If you go K24 K20, it is 12.5 to 1. Now, both of those are a recipe for 300 horsepower. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, but this is a 4 piston head. Well, here's the thing with that. Yeah, while a 4 piston head is undeniably like the best head you can go with, and it does add a good amount of power, when I started digging for dyno sheets and cross-checking with YouTube videos and dynos and whatnot, I saw a pattern. Plus, not only that, I've also noticed a pattern myself. If you do full bolt-ons K24, K20, stock block, stock head, you're looking at like 250 horsepower, the high 240s to low 250s wheel horsepower on E85. So do that compression hike and then throw cams in the mix, right? So you do that, when you see the compression height with the bolt-ons and the cams, I'm seeing a consistent 280 to 290 something wheel horsepower, and that's at 12.5 to 1. So I saw several different builds. They're ranging from the 280 wheel horsepower mark to the 290 wheel horsepower mark with bolt-ons and cams. So I would imagine the 13.5, you're definitely going to cross that line and get the 300 wheel horsepower mark. So no, the pistons alone, it's not just like you throw pistons and rods in a stock head and you get 300 horsepower. That's not the case. The case is cams. So while you're not buying a 4 piston head, you are still spending a good deal of money on camshafts. But I'm not falsely advertising. This is something that could definitely cross the 300 horsepower mark with cams and bolt-ons. So so yeah, I would imagine it still easily reaches the 260 wheel horsepower range, maybe even 270 wheel horsepower range with E85 and full bolt-ons minus the cams. Generally speaking, I would say the cams, depending on what stage or what brand you go with, are gonna equate anywhere between 20 to possibly 30 wheel horsepower, maybe more like a 20 to 25. So I think it's safe to assume that with 85 foot bolt-ons and these pistons, you can get to that upper side of the mid range for the 200 horsepower. So it's like instead of seeing like 250, you'll see 260, 270. So I am going to be working out a price list for this pretty soon to have this, give you guys a list of how much is going to be shipped. I'm working on a master price list for every single one of my blocks that I have to option, all of my block options that I build to offer you guys. When I figure out this one, I don't know if you can tell I'm kind of tired right now. When I figure this one out sometime tomorrow, I will make a post again for this. In the meantime, Mario has bought the piston rod combo and the bearings. They are on the way. Jesse knows they're coming to me, so they should be expedited. So I would imagine I can have them like anytime soon. And tomorrow, after I run my errands and get some shit shipped out, like I need to get decals, which I'm a week behind on for reasons, and parts sent out, and then I need to get back to work. I gotta finish the head for Chris. I need to polish on that valve, so that's gonna get sent out hopefully within the next 48 hours. And then I need to get into the K24 block and tear that down to get that ready for Mario's build. So yeah, I think for a while we were looking at like what is it going to be the go-to build for K-Series using the Nippon combo. I think that it's safe to say that this could be the package that would be the go-to build, because I think the piston rod combo is like $550. So $550 plus the cost of bearings. I think for the K-Series you don't find standard ones. You have to go with ACL. And I think the subtotal for Mario's buy was like $690 something or some shit. Like he bought the race bearings that came in a set. So I would think ballpark spitting just off the top of my head right now, I think it's going to be somewhere around the $1,000 range for this short block. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's it's a potentially 1,000 horsepower block. I think that's not Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, $1,000. Potentially a 300 horsepower block if you decide to go with your head work, and if not, it's still packing a seriously heavy punch. Whether you choose to stay on E85 or whether you choose to stay on pump or go on E85, this is going to be a pretty heavy hitter short block. So I think this is a pretty fucking good deal for the price. As a matter of fact, I think that there's nothing on the market that you can get right now, unless you go with generic rods, they're going to beat out the price of this Scat Nippon Racing combo. And because of the fact that you're going to need headwork to definitely get to that 300 horsepower range, I would definitely go with the Scat rods. They're rated for 700 horsepower, so I know that it'll handle the revs, whereas the generic rod, I don't know where they would fold at. I don't mind taking generic rods to stock red lines and shit like that, and increasing power as a stock red line, but with this NA combo, it's not just about the horsepower, it's also about the rev range, which would be considerably high if you want to get to where you're making that kind of power. So yeah, if you guys are interested, let me know, and I will hopefully by the time you see this have an exact price for it shipped to your door. And as far as everything else goes guys, I still have stickers, I still have decals. I think like it's safe to say now that I've sold enough of them that I'll make sure I always keep them in stock. I'll always have a supply of decals. They're $10 each if you want to do that. I know it's a little bit on the pricey side and they're kind of basic for the stickers, but it is the exact logo for the channel. So and it also helps me. Patreon is definitely something that I see how useful it could be. Let's just say if 100 of you guys donate or pledge $1, that'll be $100 a month, which is a lot. $100 a month, it may not seem like a lot, but consider the fact that YouTube pays me generally every quarter of a year, and I can make anywhere between $130 to $160. And the last two payments I got from YouTube were like $130 each. So when you're seeing that once every quarter of the year, so 4 times the most I'm seeing that payment. If that many people were to pledge $1, it'll make a huge impact on me being able to buy extra parts, which is something I want to do. So all the funds I collect from YouTube are going back into parts for stock and inventory. Also, for an extra incentive, anybody who's anybody who's a patron, even if it's the basic $1, you will get a discount for parts. You'll get a discount for labor, all that good stuff. I haven't decided exactly what yet. I probably will make different levels of discounts depending on what tier you are on. But everybody will get a discount, and it won't be a bullshit discount. You're talking about a decent one. Like right now, Mario, I cut him $50 off on labor. So that's just good like that. I don't have a percentage yet. That's probably what I'm going to fall back on. But right now, it'll just be like a dollar amount discount. And yeah, hopefully as it grows and as my income balances back out from after moving into this new place, I'll be able to do giveaways for patrons. Like it'll be like decals, and then maybe even we get to the point where we're doing short blocks if we have enough people that are there and the money's being generated enough. Like if I ever get to the point where I'm making even $300 a month off this, then I got no problem with, giving away a short block, and I guess we can do like a raffle or whatnot for that. And it won't be like a paid raffle. It'll be like everybody just throws their name in a hat, or I'll just get everybody's name off Patreon and do like a fucking wheel or whatnot and get the pick like that. But yeah, so I do have bigger plans with Patreon, but of course it needs to grow. So if you care about what's going on here and you want to try and help what's going on, like, be building kits, like, what I want to do eventually, budget K kits, budget K swap kits, budget K turbo kits, budget pistons and rod combos, that all helps for that. It all goes back into building a stock and inventory for me to be able to try and offer to you guys. And so that's it. Thanks, everybody. Maybe not right away when the video comes out, but within the next 24 to 48 hours, the links will be in the description below for Patreon on all my social media. Thanks guys for watching, and peace.